Welcome to the Art of Money podcast with Art McPherson.
And thanks for checking out the Art of Money podcast. My name is Mark Owens alongside Art McPherson and Luke McCarty. All the information for the McPherson Financial Group, you can find it at theartofmoneyradio.com. 32nd anniversary of Christmas Vacation. I think one of the best Christmas movies of all time. In agreement here?
I agree. I started smiling when I heard that music.
Art McPherson?
It's been Christmas in my house for 2 weeks, so I mean, this is just part of the norm for me.
I've had to hear this song since May. What are you talking about?
And when I come home, Hallmark's on, Julie's mom's cooking us dinner, and there's like some Hallmark Christmas show on, and half of them are decent.
Aren't they all
Half
the
of
same?
them are super cheesy.
We fell in love, and then he got married, but then they got divorced, and I came back to save him.
Right. And then they have like so many of the same actors, you know, so like it's like you'll see the same main star in like 8 different movies.
Isn't Candace Cameron the girl from Full House?
She's one of them.
She's
she's one of them. That girl has aged well.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that girl doesn't look hardly any different. It's amazing to look at her 30 years later.
Mm-hmm. I may need to start watching Hallmark movies.
I'm surprised your wife doesn't make you. No, it's because you're into the whatever entertains the kids movies right now. You're into all those little Bebop.
Dude, have you seen a Paw Patrol Christmas yet? Let me tell you something.
Like that. We're watching Mickey Christmas, and we're trying to get them to watch Home Alone. That's my wife's favorite movie.
Oh, hey,
yeah, but that's too adult for them.
It's too adult for them.
So. It doesn't grab them yet. So it will.
It's cartoony. It's cartoony.
4 or 5, they'll love that.
I just want to see your wife walk into your room, and you're like, honey, what are you watching? A Hallmark movie. Leave me alone. This is my time. Don't you judge me.
He doesn't get any of my time like that because when he's home, she's the one saying that because she has been with the kids 24/7. Luke is giving her some breaks.
She's like, I'm just going to go sit in the car and have a Chardonnay.
I'm going to go turn the radio on and sit in the car, and I'm going to take a nap for 20 minutes because it's going to feel like 14 hours.
Leave me alone. Oh, such a happy holiday in the McCarty household.
What a happy household.
It was funny. So I think at the time, their son was probably 2 months old. I called Luke for something on the weekend, and they answer, and both kids are screaming at the top of their lungs. And poor Stacy goes, Art, please pray for us. It is a bad day. And I said, oh my gosh, yes it is. I can see that. I said, will do, honey. As soon as I hang up, I will pray for you right now. She was like, oh my gosh, because it was just, and I could tell, and both of them were laughing, but I could hear it was not a real laugh. It was just kind of like, haha, this is our life. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, can we get out of this car any faster?
Well, here's the good news, Luke. If you start to get stressed out, you can always go jump into your heated pool. Too soon?
Too soon. Next year.
Too soon. Artofmoneyradio.com. If you want to meet the team from the McPherson Financial Group, 321-425-8550. We've been talking about how to deal with inflation this holiday season. You were telling me off the air about some safe investments that can possibly outpace inflation. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so the week before Thanksgiving, we made some portfolio trades within our portfolios here at McPherson Financial Group, and we sent out a video, a YouTube video to all of our clients. So you can go on YouTube and search for it. It's a quick, 10, 12-minute video, but in there's a section where we talk about how you can outpace inflation. And one of the things I wanted to tell our listeners today is that you can buy an I-bond through the government, so treasurydirect.gov.
Mm-hmm. And that's the only place you can do it. You used to be able to do it in the banks, but you have to do it online.
The current interest rate is 7.12%, and it's a treasury. So it's an inflation-protected treasury. They limit how much you can buy, and it's per social security number. But that's if you have too much cash on the sideline, if you have the G fund, the stable, all those things we mentioned that aren't keeping up with it. It's hard to say guarantee, but the government pretty much guarantees it because they could print more at 7.12% for the next 6 months, and it resets every 6 months.
This is just straight up information from Luke from the team at McPherson Financial Group. You're not making any money off of this.
Nope. We're just giving information that's out there so people can go take a look at it, Google it, search it, and take a look and see what those rates are and if they want to come in and see us. But yeah, that's just information for them to be able to get a better yield on their stable or safe money.
And that's called an I-bond.
It's an I-bond. Yeah. Right. So the catch is it's not liquid for the first year. So you can't just make your 7 and get
it's
out.
Like having a CD.
Okay. Well, if you have a financial advisor right now that's not offering this kind of information for you, then maybe it's time to make a change. And there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion. And the team at the McPherson Financial Group, they're offering those consultations, and they're no cost this weekend to our radio listeners. That number is 321-425-8550. Or maybe you just want some more information about how the iBond works, artofmoneyradio.com. And, every year the IRS will make adjustments to tax brackets because of inflation. Some tax rates will remain the same, but the income thresholds are going up by about 3%. So that means a higher standard deduction for married couples and for those filing as single taxpayers. Now, that's good news for the April 15th taxpayer of next year. But how can you help us out when it comes to the April 15th moving forward?
So for this next April 15th, right, most of your tax planning needs to be done before December 31st. That was part of what we talked about at River Rocks a couple weeks ago. And a good example from that event and what we used as a talking point there is a client we had come in where by not doing a Roth strategy, right, their tax bill over time was about $600,000. By doing the Roth conversion tax strategy, their tax bill was $500,000 for their life. So basically saving them $100,000 and then saving the kids a heck of a lot more because the kids get it tax free. So there's a lot of planning that helps you, helps your April 15th, but it can also help your kids every April 15th and every day, potentially for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, one of the things that we'll do in our office, actually, Mark, is with our CPA here, Mark, he's part of our team. He'll do an analysis for us. All we have to do is just say, hey, Mark, we want to do a Roth conversion here. Will you look at whether this makes sense in this tax year? Not only does he look at this tax year making sense, he will go forward and look at, okay, if we didn't make a change, what is their RMD requirement when they start hitting age 72? And we'll factor in, basically the growth rate the client is making on their money. And we know what that number is going to be and really be able to dial into what is the sweet spot on a Roth conversion? How much should we convert and what bracket should we convert it in so that you're never paying more money, more tax money on that money than if you waited to do it 10 years from now. So we have a lot of neat analysis and a lot of neat tools that we can do for our clients. And that's part of having a CPA here and why we have Mark part of the team now.
321-425-8550. And we usually focus on financial issues, but you have so much experience, Art McPherson, working with retirees that I want to also get your thoughts on this. Michael Finca of the American College tells Morningstar that couples often find it difficult to make those social transitions that come with retirement.
Men get a lot of fulfillment from relationships in the workplace. Women tend to initiate more friendships outside of the workplace. And then oftentimes what happens is the husband in an opposite sex relationship will rely more on his wife in retirement. And that can create a certain amount of friction because the wife wants to be able to maintain a certain amount of independence and maintain the relationships with her friends. And the husband hasn't made the same investments.
Friction as couples get ready to retire. Is that something you see often?
We do. We actually have a book we give out on it. So one of the things that we do is we give out a book that was not written by me or Luke, but it is a book that we give out. And it's kind of how to prepare, mentally, emotionally prepare for retirement, what that means. We will see, we've got some of the smartest people in the world working in Brevard County. We've got a space race going on right now, and we've got a lot of engineers that are doing we're sending people in orbit. We got really, really smart people, but they're very nervous because every time they meet somebody, they're putting out their hand. They're like, hey, I'm an engineer with NASA. Hey, I'm an engineer with Northrop Grumman. Hey, I'm an engineer with XYZ. What do I do in retirement, Art? And I said, well, what you do is you say, hey, I'm a retired engineer from NASA. And now everybody knows what you do. You have the same introduction, except you just made them very jealous because they want to be where you are. And they laugh about that. And they're like, but then with husband and wives, yes, we do see this. So the wives' typical comment is, I don't know if I can handle him home 24/7 because they're worried. But usually what the husband has to do is he has to transition to some hobbies, whether it's working in the garage, doing woodwork or going golfing or just getting that hobby back that he kind of loved to do, never had time to do, and picking up. So I've got some guys, like I have guys that ran businesses for 30 years, 40 years, and then now they're in their garages building furniture, and having a great time. So they spend a lot of time. They're close to the wife, they're at home, but then the wife can still do what she wants to do. She can still have those conversations without him interrupting her, still be able to go get those social events, because every guy, the wife is usually the social calendar person. Mm-hmm. So the wife has that calendar and she still wants to have that calendar and some of that me time, because they need that, because women are completely different than us men, for sure.
You don't say.
This was funny. I worked with a portfolio manager when I lived in Kansas City, and he would always say, in relation to this topic, he'd say, I married you for life. I did not marry you for lunch. So we're together for life, but I do not want to have lunch with you every day, right? I do not want to do everything with you every day. So that's why we give out the book that Art mentioned of, how to mentally prepare yourself for retirement. And, you basically need some hobbies and something else to keep your mind busy if you're that type of busy person. Mm-hmm. Some of us dream of doing nothing in retirement. It doesn't last for very long. You could get bored. So we have a book. If you want it, we'll send it to you. Let us know.
All right, that number is 321-425-8550. My wife told me over Thanksgiving weekend, she was like, honey, I love you, but I don't like you right now, so just go away for a little bit.
Uh-oh, you were bothering her, huh?
Oh, all the 24/7, 365. Come on.
Can you get me this? Can you get me this?
Yes, exactly. 2 years after leaving NBC Sports, I don't know if you saw this, Bob Costas, he is back. He is 69 years old, and he tells CBS that he's really not quite ready to retire just yet.
Is your tank as full as it's ever been?
At this point, I'm a show pony, not a plow horse. I'm not looking for inventory. I'm looking for a few things that move the needle for me.
So he's got a new show on HBO called Back on the Record. So Art McPherson, Luke McCarty, do you have clients that continue to work and move that needle well past retirement years?
Yeah, kind of doing what Bob Costas wants to do. Like, he's going to be very specific in the jobs that he wants to do. Like he said, I don't want to be the plow horse anymore. I want to be the show horse. So I want to be catered to, and I want to be able to, just come out and do my little thing and then go back into the stall and not have to have a lot of prep and a lot of work. So, doing those special type events, doing those limited engagements. We have clients that will go from full-time status to a part-time status where they're working maybe a couple days a week or 2 or 3 days a week. And then they're very happy with that because they were working 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours. And now working 2 or 3 days is not a big deal. Plus, it keeps them busy, keeps them kind of connected with the company, kind of keeps some income coming in the door so they maybe can delay turning their Social Security on, something like that. A lot of times they'll work for the medical benefits, so making sure they have insurance to age 65.
And it's something we discussed in the last segment. It also gets them out of the house, so it keeps the wife happy as well.
Yes.
Not quite around as much. Do you see people, do they try to go back into the workforce to the job they originally had like Bob Costas is doing? Or do you have clients that say, man, I'm going to go drive for Uber, or I'm going to go pick up a part-time job, at a Costco or something like that? What do you find that most people do?
We see a little bit of both. We see some people go back in and be a contractor for the company they used to work for, but kind of set their own hours. Mm-hmm. And then we've also seen where I'm so tired of doing this job. I've done it for 30, 40 years. I'm going to go work at the golf course, right? Or I'm going to go do something fun because I don't necessarily need the money. I just want something to do, kind of delay Social Security like Art was saying, or get some health benefits. But we kind of see both sides of that coin. I could see, my dad, for example, my dad's getting ready to retire, but he's not going to stop working. He's just not going to do, hard construction and be a plumber anymore and climb ladders, right? At Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. So I'm trying to shoo him to the golf course in Florida so that way I can go play for free. but just doing something easier than what you're used to doing is what we see most typically.
I got to appreciate your brutal honesty. Yeah, Dad, it's good to have you around, but I need to work on my short game, too.
Yeah, Dad, if you're getting a part-time job, you should go to the golf course. That way I can just
play around for free.
Walk on every day.
Thanks for listening. Want more from Art McPherson of McPherson Financial Group? Find us online at artofmoneyradio.com. We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Securities offered through World Equity Group, Inc., member FINRA and SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Investment advisory services offered through ProStatus Group, LLC. McPherson Financial Group and ProStatus Group, LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by World Equity Group, Inc. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Investment financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. Art McPherson is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Arthur McPherson, Florida Insurance License number A174725.
Today's show has been a work of art.